the man was knocked in the direction of the shelf the jar was sitting on, what would he have hit? The wall. The suit of armor! Holding a very sharp and dangerous looking sword. Yes. And since the man who was knocked into the armor was carrying a broken knife, he would have had been Neil Marshall, wielding the King of Prosecutors trophy. Okay. No, Mr. Wright, you can't be thinking. I still don't quite understand, how could you, if you're getting knocked into the wall where the jar is, and presumably that jar fell down, how would you get stabbed by that fucking suit of armor if the knife was if the thing was pointing this way? You might get scratched by it or like, you know, sliced by it, but stabbed with it? It doesn't make any sense. And if he flew into the suit of armor this way, how would he have knocked the jar? Maybe his hand knocked it out, but like, they're saying he knocked into the fucking wall, so I don't fucking know. Yes. There's another possibility of what actually transpired in that room. Another possibility? Of course, the perpetrator would have had no idea, but nevertheless. I don't know if I can go through with this. Mr. Wright, what's the matter? If events took place as the defense theorizes, then the outcome is obvious. In that moment, assuming that the man Emma Skye knocked away was actually Prosecutor Neil Marshall. Idiot. Who told you to fall so fucking hard? Then he didn't even knock into the wall! You see? You mean Mr. Marshall died because of me? No! Did she die? Ew! Did you see Edward's fingernails? They were so white! I never noticed that until now. Ew. I never imagined her testimony would lead to this. So it was a witness who took the victim's life. And then proved so with her own testimony. This is unprecedented! What? What are you saying? I'm sorry, Miss Skye, but given the circumstances, Joe Dark murdered Prosecutor Marshall. How can you think it was Emma? How dare you try to pin the crime on her? Oh, her head looks so long. Imagine that coming from you. If you recall, it was you who admitted to forging evidence 2 years ago. The reason you moved Prosecutor Marshall's body was to keep anyone else from finding out about what Emma did, wasn't it? I assure you, Mr. Edward, I have no idea what you're talking about. If you hope to have anyone believe your insane allegations, I'm afraid you're going to have proof. Tell me, do you have any conclusive evidence that proves my sister killed Neil Marshall? Evidence? I'm willing to bet you don't. Yes, it certainly would be difficult to prove this with evidence. If we don't have evidence, then we'll have to rely on testimony. I'm afraid that won't work in this case. Both parties involved in the incident are dead. We certainly can't get dead people to testify. If only Maya were here. This has been a wild goose chase from the beginning. I was about to say something. What was I about to say? Oh, I guess like the statute of limitations for this case has already ended, right? So it's not like she can be prosecuted for the case, even if she truly did kill Marshall. Touche, Miss Skye. Of course, that only leaves us with one possibility. You mean there's still another possibility? What do you mean, Mr. Edward? I mean the possibility that the victim has left us a message. For better or worse, Mr. Marshall did not die instantly. He may have left behind the name of the person who took his life. In one manner or another. That's impossible. Well, Mr. Wright, this is the only possibility left to you. How? Wait a minute, how? Okay, a message from the deceased. Does such a message exist? I've got to think back to the court record. The real murderer's name that the victim may have left behind. This message from the deceased, it's already in our possession. Mr. Wright, will you stop at nothing to prove my sister a murderer? Do not be mistaken, Miss Sky. Our purpose is not to accuse Emma of any crime. There is only one thing we seek, and that is the truth. No matter how painful it may be. Now then, Mr. Wright, please show us the piece of evidence that conveys a message from the deceased. Now, I'm wondering if... Are you supposed to be able to tell that that's the message? Like, I know it because, like, obviously I've played it, but, like, I wonder if you're able to tell that, like... That's supposed to be... Yeah, I don't know, whatever. Alright, never mind, doesn't matter. This is the message left by the deceased. This is that blue badger from before, right? Oh, is he gonna just speak the killer's name? If that thing could, I'm sure it would. It looks like everyone's forgotten this is just a jar. A message was left here. On the surface of this jar. Hold up a second. So that jar purposely is like the smaller, thin part of the jar is the base? What would you do with this jar? It fucking sucks. It's so top heavy. What do you mean? If you look closely, you can see a faint trail of blood in this jar. It looks like someone wiped the blood away. Yes, but notice. For some reason, the blood on some of the fragments was not wiped away. Yes, there is a line here. Drawn in blood. So what you're saying is these dots were once lines. Why didn't you fucking... Whoever erased it, why didn't you erase the fucking dots? Prosecutor Marshall did not die instantly. He used a few precious moments left to him to leave behind a message. Why would he do that? One that someone apparently wiped away. But blood must have seeped into the jar where the lines changed directions. Oh, whatever, sure. It's a porous ass motherfucking jar that's top heavy. Precisely so. All we need to do is connect the dots. And the victim's message will become apparent. Also, wait a minute. Wait a fucking minute. No. Wait a minute. Supposedly that jar fell over, right? Because that's how Emma saw the picture. Was that updated? Hold up. It was updated. It's clearly showing that this fucking jar was in the middle of falling. Because if you look at it, if you turn over with the people standing, the jar clearly fell over. It's why it's on the side, right? Right? So if it fell over, I'd imagine it would have broken? No? Because if it didn't break from the fall, then if it broke from the fall, then how did Marshall write anything on it? Never mind the fact that it would have been broken, but it's also like, even if it didn't break, it would be on the floor. And he supposedly was stabbed by the spear of the fucking knight. He wouldn't be able to reach the floor. Whatever. That's alright. What kind of message did the victim leave for us? Your Honor, I believe these bloodstains will reveal to us the answer. I've got to connect these dots to make letters. There's only one thing the victim would have written given the circumstances. His murderer's name. Haven't we proved this countless of times that like this shit never works, except for maybe in Dangan, which might be a spoiler, but like whatever. Do I have to connect? No, I don't have to. It's a defense attorney's duty to prove their client's innocence. That's why all I've been thinking about is saving Lana. After all my efforts, I never thought it would turn out like this. Emma. And so this is the final message Prosecutor Marshall left behind. Of all people. She may not have meant it. But in the end, the one who took the victim's life was Emma Sky. Oh, that startled me. Say Worthy, can't say I didn't warn you. Chief Gant, do you understand the implications of what you've done? What? What are you talking about? 2 years ago, Joe Dark was sentenced to death. He was convicted because of his final murder. I believe you were the prosecutor in that case, were you not? Yes, Worthy. Because of you, an innocent man was sentenced to death. Why are you fucking smiling about it? God damn it. Not only that, but you used forged evidence to ensure its conviction. Never mind the fact that you were the fucking head of the police, the what? The chief of detectives at the time, or whatever it was? The deputy chief of police? Whatever it was? You were the one giving him the fucking fake evidence. Screw you, man! What the But Joe Dark really was a serial murderer. That's undeniable. I'm afraid that's not important. Didn't you know? We aren't defenders of justice. What? We're merely keepers of the law. Sentencing a man to death is no light matter. Even if there wasn't any cover-up or evidence forgery. Ultimately, the responsibility falls on the prosecutor in charge. Despite what anyone may say, this fact cannot be denied. What's going on at the prosecutor's office? They might have sent an innocent man to his death. How can he just stand there like it wasn't his fault? Order! 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 The gavel's pounding fell on deaf ears. Unable to settle the crowd, the judge declared a recess. Where this trial is headed, no one knows. Did you fucking to be continue me? I thought we were gonna be able to I'm still fine. I can still go. We're close. There's no point of stopping here. I saved this time, right? Okay. Save? Save. Alrighty then. We're good. We can still go. I am A-okay. I'm sorry, Edgeworth. I didn't mean to get you in trouble. Don't worry about it. This is my problem, not yours. Wait, hold up. 1 second. He's 24. Man, this is way too much stress to be putting on a 24-year-old. Look at that. His hair is already graying. Never mind the fact that he was born with it. Hey, pal. Hope I'm not interrupting anything, pals. Oh, guess I am. I'll come back later. Oh, wait. Detective Gumshoe. What is it? He's not even a detective anymore. You got a lot of nerve, pal. Making a detective run around all around while on duty. And to top it off, you call me here? I've seen happier people at funerals. What is this deja vu? I take it Lana's having you run errands again? Let me tell you, this is the last time, pal. Here, she asked me to give this to you if there was a break in today's trial. What is that for? Evidence law. Edward was just talking about this the other day. You must know the 2 rules of evidence law. Rule 1. No evidence shall be shown without the approval of the police department. Is that right, Mr. Wright? It seems so. You can at least study some evidence law, really. The chief prosecutor also wanted me to give you a message. A message? She said, if you're planning to take him on, you're going to need this book. Him? I guess I'll need to give this book a thorough read. Evidence law securely slipped in the pocket. Doesn't look like that book will do you any good now, though. All that's left now is the chief prosecutor's sentence. That's where you're wrong, detective. Huh? Haven't you figured it out yet? Why I'm still sitting in that prosecutor's seat, despite all these allegations being thrown at me? Mr. Edgeworth! The real trial today hasn't begun yet. What? What else is there left to do? Your credibility's been all but ruined with this forged evidence you were unaware of. Emma Sky found out she was unwittingly caused the man's death. And now, you're telling me you want to do more? You gotta be kidding me, pal! You're missing the point, detective. Lana didn't murder Detective Goodman. Huh? She merely stuck a knife into his dead body. That means that the real killer is still out there. What? And we're going to expose him, no matter what it takes. This case has hurt too many people. It's time to bring it to the end. Edward! Oh, I'm gonna give him a hug. 1 second. Oh, I can't. I was about to bring up the book because I wanted to read it. Court will now reconvene for the trial of Miss Long Sky. 1 second. I just want to take the opportunity to read the book. From Miss Sky explains the rule. Okay. Rule 1. No evidence shall be shown without the approval of the police department. Rule 2. Unregistered evidence presented must be relevant to the case on trial. don't remember when this would, one night you would need to use it. But look at that cute little picture of the bird. Mr. Edward. Yes, Your Honor. The Inquiry Committee is planning to impose harsh penalties for your actions. Thank you for the news, Your Honor. Yes, well... normally this is where the prosecution calls for the witness. But... this isn't easy to say. You see, there is some concern that you, Mr. Edward, may have, struck a bargain. You think I may have manipulated the witnesses? I didn't say that! It's just you see, everyone has been talking, and, very well, Your Honor. I have a solution. A solution? That being the case, the prosecution will allow the defense to call forth all further witnesses. Oh, what? But there's no precedent for what you're proposing! Undeniably, this is an unusual arrangement, but a very effective one. It would prove that I haven't struck any deals with the witnesses. Well, Mr. Wright, what do you say? Unbelievable. Edward has found a way to continue the trial. Very well. The defense accepts the prosecution's proposal. Then it's settled. The, defense may now call forth the next witness. 1 second. I just want to save. Mr. Wright, you do realize this is your last chance. If you call the wrong witness, this trial is as good as over. The defense calls... The time's finally come to bring out the real murderer. Okay, I wasn't sure if I was supposed to be bringing him out, because I thought maybe I had to bring out Lana or something, but like, okay. Damon Gant. The defense calls Damon Gant to the stand. Damon Gant? What does he have to do with anything? As a defendant's partner 2 years ago, Mr. Gant had first-hand knowledge of the crime. I feel we should hear what he has to say about it. As luck would have it, he should still be in the courthouse. He would also be the least likely to have been manipulated by me in any way. Wouldn't you agree, Your Honor? True. Alright, bailiff, please escort Mr. Gant to the stand.